Hello! In this video, I will show you how to create graphs on FanPageKarma. So when you're in your project, using the tagging tool, you go at the end here to the Add Chart option, here. Then you will have the possibility to select between several charts. I like to start with the donut graph. For KPIs, I keep the number of posts. And then I select one category of tags. So right now, let's do the campaign tags. And then just click Add. That's it. And that will generate your donut graph. So this generates your donut graph here. You see your KPI, number of posts, is in the title. And then you have percentages. And these represents the share of each of these tags. So oil represents 25.8% of posts for 2018, whereas climate and energy represents 18.8%, and so on. And if you hover over the donut, then it will tell you how many posts for each one of these tags. So plastics, we see it's 127 posts in 2018, and oceans is 123 posts, and so on and so forth. So I like to use this graph to look at the volume and the share of each tag for each category. So here in campaigns, I see that oil, climate, energy, forest, plastic, and oceans are kind of like well balanced. Second chart I will show you now is the quadrant. It's this one here, the x-axis. So you select the graph, and then you have two KPIs. So number of posts, and the other one, I use the KPI post interaction right here. And same, I need to select only one category of tags. Let's continue with the example of campaign tags. And click Add. So this generates your graph. You can see in the title the two KPIs you selected, number of posts and post interaction. From left to right, you have the number of posts, and bottom up, you have the post interaction. How to interpret this graph? Here in the top left, you have all those campaigns you didn't publish much about, but they performed well. So the conclusion is you may want to publish more about this engaging content. Bottom left are those campaigns you didn't post much about and it didn't perform that well. Before concluding that content is not good, you could try to publish a little bit more, or if you really already know that the content is maybe not the best, you can choose to revise it before pushing more of it. Then on the top right, you have the campaigns that you published a lot about and they performed well. So this is the best place of the graph to be, and the one that all the campaigns should be aiming at. Bottom right, you have those campaigns that you published a lot about, but did not perform well. So for example, here, the oil campaign, we have 220 posts published in 2018, but they're very low in terms of post interaction, meaning that we need to understand what happened there and revise the content. The third chart I'm going to show you is the timeline. So again, you can add a chart. Sorry, before the timeline, I'm going to show you the bar chart. Show values, number of, let's take this time, total reactions, comments, and shares. And let's select campaign tags. And click Add. And this is what your graph looks like, a bar chart, where it gives you the total reactions, comments, and shares. So we see that forest comes first, then climate and energy, then plastics, oil, oceans, and so on. What this graph does not tell you is how this relates to the volume. So how many posts were published for each one of those. So if you need to see that as well, you can create another chart where for the KPI, instead of total reactions, comments, and shares, you select number of posts. And then you can calculate manually the proportion between total reactions, comments, and shares, and the number of posts for forest, for climate energy, for plastics, for oil and oceans, and so on. Another KPI that would be interesting to look at is total comments. So total reactions, comments, and shares would be about the breadth of engagement, whereas the number of comments would give you an idea of the depth of the engagement. So this is what it looks like. And then you see you have a slight difference in the ranking. Forest is still number 1. Then comes oil, climate and energy, and plastics and oceans. So you can always look at the ratio between number of comments and total reactions, comments and shares, or you can also look at the ratio between number of comments and number of posts for each one of these campaign baskets.